Hey, it's Eric G from the Around the House show. Elevate your grilling game with the all-new Monty McGrill's Omni Pro series. The Eminence 405 is packed with cutting-edge features, blending elegance with expert-level performance. 4 powerful burners plus a side searing station deliver 60,000 BTUs of precision heat. The Clearview lid lets you keep an eye on your masterpiece without losing heat. Stay in control with the smart Bluetooth app, track your temps, set timers, and get alerts from anywhere. The LED touch panel ensures effortless monitoring, even in bright daylight. Temperature sensing lights keep you grilling anytime, anywhere. This grill is built to last, and it's also backed by a 10-year limited warranty. The Eminence 405, where power, style, and innovation meet. Check it out and order your new grill at monumcgrills.com. That's monumcgrills.com.
It's Around the House. On this episode of Around the House.
It's one of the most highly touched spots in your whole entire home, your doors and your cabinet pulls. If you think about the amount of times that you have touch points and interactions with that, you want something that's going to be sturdy and it's going to last, and it's not the second you pull at it going to fall right off or going to feel like it's going to crumble in your hand. You need something with weight.
And the crazy thing is too is that all the oils in our hands are just like acidic. They love to eat it. Look at people that have knobless cabinets in their kitchen from the 90s or whatever. This hour is brought to you by our friends at Monty McGrills. To find out more about their brand new Eminence series, where you've got high-tech, great cooking, and affordable prices, check them out at monumcgrills.com.
When it comes to remodeling or renovating your home, there is a lot to know, and we have got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to the Around the House show, the next generation of home improvement. Thanks for joining me today. We are out here at Design and Construction Week, and me and our 100,000 closest friends out here in the building, shall we say. This has been an animal out here, and it is everything you can see for anything inside your home, outside your home, whatever. And of course, I'm in my favorite booth here with my friends, my family. And we do this every year. It's like our annual tradition, and it is so much fun to see. And I gotta say before I introduce you guys, it is so fun to see the Baldwin brand and the booth back. And I say that as a compliment because you guys have gone through a lot. We've all gone through a lot. And I love the new full look of this. And it's due, and I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you. We're really excited. It really does feel like it's a great representation of us. And we do feel that our new home under Assa Abloy is really giving us the freedom to express what the brand has really stood for and allowed us to have the space to really showcase our products in a way that make the most sense.
Yeah, I'm not talking anything bad about prior administrations, shall we say, but you have somebody that gets what you do.
I think the coolest part to me is we're now with an ownership group for the first time in a long time that's in our industry, right?
Yeah.
They are a behemoth in hardware, both commercial now and residential, and it just feels good to be somewhere where there's just so much synergy and opportunity for us to just explore what else is out there.
Instead of you having to explain to somebody about what this lock is, they're coming to you going, and we got this idea. And you're like, whoa, okay, different story.
Exactly.
100%.
Different story. Let's get the introductions going, even though if you've been listening to the show for a long time. Aaron, let's hear what you do here.
Aaron Brueck, I lead our sales team as well as customer service, based in Reading, Pennsylvania, the original home of Baldwin Hardware. I'm coming up on 21 years, and like you said, Eric, we've been through it, right?
Yeah.
We've seen this brand come a long way, and just so cool and surreal to be here in this space right next to Kohler.
Yeah,
We've arrived.
This is awesome, and you and I have to go hit the Ugly Oyster again there.
Shout out
do
to
that
PA.
again right there. Absolutely. And of course, Samantha.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Deakin, and I am the Baldwin brand manager, and I also am in charge of partnership marketing. So it's really exciting being here at Design and Construction Week, especially with everyone that we've had attending and being able to show the brand in a way that is really impactful. And I'm glad to hear you compliment the booth because it's been a lot of hard work, but it's worth every single sweat drop and teardrop throughout the past couple of months.
And we know it's her. This was her. There's no doubt about it.
You are written in this design-wise, and that's a compliment because it's cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for the people that don't know what this show is, it is insane how this all comes together. we've seen the TV shows where they build a house in a week. This is like building 10,000 houses in a week.
It's a village, building a city in a week, right?
The Kohler booth next door. Come on, those guys probably got $15 million into that booth, I'm guessing. And it all goes in the dumpster at the end. But it's just crazy what this level is. And you guys have done, you guys got the 10,000 pound bee around the corner over there that I'd hate to move around. That if you're watching on video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But you guys
not very mobile, but a great photo op.
And very impressive. Like the weight of it, you can see and feel as you touch each knob, and so you can only imagine 600 plus pieces just automatically that were hand screwed in by several different individuals and then hand carried in 4 different sections. So
this thing, just to paint the visual pictures for you people catching on the radio out there, it is like an 8-foot high letter B that is to scale, and it is all filled in with all the beautiful hardware you guys do, from knobs to cabinet hardware to everything else. It's very cool.
It's actually a celebration this year in particular about our look at scale. So that's something that we've been playing with over the past couple of months. Is we understand that when you're designing the perfect piece, that you need to maybe play with some things being a little smaller. That front door, you might want a slightly larger knob that makes more of an impression, but that closet door, you might want something a little bit smaller. You can play with your rose scale and with your knob scale in a way that makes sense, and it's a beautiful way to display it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the other thing that really jumps out at me is the combination of the brass tones that we've gone with. There seems to be this true resurgence of brass, unlacquered brass, just a pure as traditional as it comes, going on to all different types of products, contemporary, modern, transitional. Yeah. So seeing those different kind of textures, those different layers, and then those different hues of brass really makes this kind of like almost mosaic, right?
Yeah,
it's
just
a really cool look
to
it.
Which is cool. Yeah. And that is another trend that I saw here in a lot of different booths, is that just raw brass look of how that's going to patina. It's going to do its own thing. I was over at Infinity Drain. They had a drain that was solid brass, that little trough drains, the little narrow ones. And it was one of those things that's like, goes in the shower. It's going to be all these different colors, and it's going to get really awesome, depending on what products you're putting down there. But that's the thing. It's going to be super cool.
Some really cool just authenticity, right?
Yeah.
It's like the true like language of the material, right?
Yeah.
That's what's coming through. You're not stopping that.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty cool.
One of our designers yesterday said it best, that she feels like that level of brass is showing your memories. You can see every memory on the piece of brass. And I like heard that and I was like, that is such a beautiful sentiment. That
it's like steal that from
rings of
marketing.
a tree, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa, for that one.
Shout out Teresa Ori.
Yeah, that is cool. But that's the thing, though. And the other thing is, too, is you can't do that with a cheap finish. You can't do that with some weird plating and pull that off. It has to be that 5-pound door handle. You know what I mean?
That's the cool part, is it's such a experience to put that heavy piece in somebody's hand. And that is the element that everyone thinks of when they think of solid forged brass. But Eric, you're exactly right. That forging process makes a much easier surface to put those finishes on. It gives us such an opportunity and advantage over a lot of competition to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
And do it and show many different finishes, including our newer graphite nickel finish.
Oh, and that finish is just sexy as all get out.
Oh,
that thing is
amazing.
just
stunning.
And again, that was such a leading movement within the industry. That was not like, oh, we just came. It was like 2 years ago, I think I saw that for the first time here, and I was like, oh, hell, look at that. And what's cool about that finish to me is how transformative it is. You can take something that is so traditional and spin it right into contemporary with just a finish, which is wild.
You'll see some of the pieces in our booth that actually showcase that exact moment, that you're looking at something that the second it's sitting in unlacquered brass right next to it, and you're like, this is meant to be in an old historic home, but you put that gunmetal-esque type finish to it, and it looks so rock and roll. There's no other word to describe it besides that.
Yeah, it is awesome. It's one of those things that I see it as.
I think too, I think people are, black is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Satin nickel has been everywhere. So for anyone out there that's sick of either of those and you're looking for a new option, graphite is just, it's unique. It plays in both arenas. It's just a really cool new take, right?
It's funny, like when we were in the 2000s to 2010s, all of a sudden we were pulling all the polished brass out of stuff. And now that's oil rub bronze that everybody's pulling out. It's just funny how the transformational, and it goes that to matte black, and then of course these new finishes, which is awesome.
Sure. And the cool part too is as we've started dabbling in this mixed finish space too, right? Where let's dabble in combining finishes together. So that's another way that we're seeing brass come back in. Is there may be someone that's not totally back to, hey, I want the full polished brass, but hey, I'll take a little brass accent on my black or on my oil rub bronze, put a little tip on a hinge, change the back plate of your brass knob to black. So just depth, messing with those different layers.
Absolutely. And brass isn't brass anymore, really. You start looking at all the different brushed and the tones and everything else with it. Of course, you've got that solid quality that's hiding behind it of that brass. But really, it's so cool just to see all the different flavors, because those are all textures within, and like we were talking about earlier, you could take something and just really twist it into something cool.
The versatility, right?
Yeah. 100%. And it does give it a new life. It does allow for some of these pieces to just have a completely different tone and depth that you would have never seen before.
Yeah, and then the other thing I think is cool too is what you guys have done as a brand over the number of years ago, over the last, let's say the last 10 years. It was a very traditional quality estate look, shall we say. And not to take the brand of that, but it was just that kind of, very traditional. And it's fun to watch the brand and you guys grow with that, because now that's a wide road compared to the narrow road it was. And for you out there listening or watching this, if you haven't looked at Baldwin, time to maybe pop the book open or take a look online and take a look at this, because it's a different brand now than it was, but that same lifelong heavy duty quality is there too. So that hasn't changed.
We've also seen an ode to some of those elements because, like you said, we were so traditional. And then I think we had this catch up mode where it was like, oh, but wait, we love contemporary. We need to make sure that there's contemporary in our line. And with that, you saw us fluctuate and play in those worlds. And I think actually with one of our most recent launches of these levers that you can find in our booth, but the Briar Crest, the Nashville, those in particular are this ode to what we're calling the new traditional. So it's those cleaner lines, a little bit more simpler, but it still has that respect that Baldwin has always had for the traditional space, but just done so in a little bit more of a sleek way.
Right? And it's so crazy how that stuff works. And then you've got a tray of mixed finishes here to play with, which to me is like the best adult designer tinker toys known to mankind right there.
The
fidget spinner for the exactly. Right? This is us hardware nerd people going, oh my gosh. And what's cool though is you're looking at this and you've got all these different finishes. You've got a round barrel shaped handle piece, but then you can go, I want a knurled look to this, or let's put in a different finish. And so that's the cool part of this, is that you're really limitless from what you can do. And you guys have really come out with that quick ship program, which has made things so much easier as well to get from the design contractor side of things for the professional out there. That's not, the hardware sometimes gets forgotten in the job site.
Yeah, look, we recognize it, right? Time is as precious as it's ever been, right? Yeah. Deadlines are quicker. We have more projects. We have less people to. So all of those variables point to I need to be quick. We've launched a new operational process we call 5-5-4.
Okay.
5 days for quick ship, 5 days for reserve, 4 weeks for the rest of our just regular made to order estate. I can tell you it's 99% shipping on time right now.
Yes.
Shout out the ops team and everything going on there.
Shipping before on time, actually, most of the time, which is one of those celebrations that it's we just got to keep that momentum. And
it seems like for doors too, it's like it gets forgotten by so many people out there because they're filling out their door order form and going, what locks are we doing on that? Now the timer's going, right, for the project because, okay, what are we doing? But the nice thing is a lot of door companies out there 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes, we got the window.
You got the window. You got the window, which is great. It gives you some padding too, because Murphy's Law says that one of the shipping companies is going to leave it at the neighbor's door. All the crazy stuff that happens out there, the snow, the wind, the hurricanes, whatever. But it really gives you guys in a position to really bring that high-end quality at a very reasonable time, because you can get it there before the door manufacturers or the cabinets are delivered and that kind of stuff.
And I think that's the key to quick ship is, look, I think there's a lot of manufacturers that have some sort of fast option, but it is all of our styles.
Yeah.
So you're getting the variety, but you're also getting the speed. And again, and shout out to an ownership group, that's a lot of inventory dollars sitting on the shelf, but it's showing that it's worth it because our customer sees we have it. So again, if you're out there, you need some doorknobs or levers, we have them. They're on the shelf.
I also think we have to talk about the ease too that quick ship brings, though, because not only is it the speed to market, it's the fact that you're everything you need in one box. And also with the introduction of the new adjustable latch, it literally is a game changer when it comes to product ordering.
And that's been always the hard part for me, even ordering, because, and I've known you guys forever, but I have to slow down and pay attention because there used to be a lot of boxes and it's okay, I need this, but I need this piece and I need this piece. And you guys have really brought that in, which is really cool because stuff that happens on the job site, it's great that you get it there right, but you want to keep it at the job site too. And more boxes means more chance of something going sideways, because if it's going to go sideways, it's going to go sideways at the job site.
Yeah, and I think we haven't changed any of that. I think we have the best of both worlds now again, and we have those customers that they want to put it together piece by piece, that true bespoke experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Attention, around the house fans. We've got some exciting news. Our website just got a major upgrade thanks to the pros at sitehypedesigns.com. Now, it's easier than ever to catch up on episodes, find expert home improvement tips, and connect with us. Head over to aroundthehouseonline.com and check out the fresh new look. It's your ultimate home for everything around the house. Aroundthehouseonline.com, built for homeowners, designed for you.
If I could dream.
Is your website losing you money instead of making it? Slow load times, outdated design, or a clunky mobile experience could be driving those customers away. At sitehypedesigns.com, we turn bad websites into high-performing, customer-winning machines. Our expert designers create sleek, fast, and SEO-optimized sites that don't just look good, they convert visitors into paying customers. Don't let a weak website hold you back. Visit sitehypedesigns.com today for a free website audit and discover how we can take your business to the next level. Sitehypedesigns.com. Websites that work as hard as you do.
For our Around the House listeners, use promo code ERICG for a free website audit and a free half-hour consultation call.
Peace. We'll still do that all day long, but this time thing. So lock in a box and taking the questions out. You don't need to ask handing if it's the same finish.
Yeah.
You don't need to ask back set. So we're taking questions out of the equation. So it's just, this works no matter what.
And questions are errors, right? That's where the mistakes happen.
Assumptions come. It's just downhill.
Yeah. And that's what I think. And that's why I love what you guys did by literally cutting the hardware down needed for this with the adjustable latch. That to me was just so brilliant. And when I saw you guys coming out with that, I was like, oh my God, somebody finally figured that out. And it works. It's not some clunky, weird piece. It's going to work for both.
Oh, and I think it was 3 or 4 iterations with our design and engineering team. We would all put them out on our own doors at home and put it through its paces, and we brought back notes. And we were 3-4 generations or revisions in to make sure after 2 years it was going to work.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing with you guys in testing too. You guys do a lot of that stuff to really make sure before it goes out to market.
Test lab in our first floor, right? We can hammer deadbolts, drill through stuff, all in the comfort of our own building.
Exactly.
Well,
which
and
is
we're
fun.
a brand known for trust. And so when you start coming out with this new idea and some of these inventions or ideas that really do break the mold from what Baldwin has always done, you want to make sure that you still have that same level of trust. We want to keep being a trusted brand for years to come. So that level of testing is an absolute necessity in order for people to understand. The latch is known by Baldwin. It has our name directly on it.
Yeah.
People are excited when they see those elements. And so when you start bringing up these ideas of something new, there's a little bit of fear that comes about.
Responsibility, right?
Yeah.
That's a good
When
way to put
someone's
it.
door doesn't work, they open the door, and to your point, the first name they're going to see is our name on the latch,
Absolutely.
right? So we're public enemy number one.
Oh,
if
yeah.
there's an issue.
If it doesn't work, yeah.
So we take that to heart, and that's why we go through such vigorous testing.
Yeah, and for you guys out there that haven't really seen what we're talking about, and this is great. So Baldwin created this great latch that we have these 2 back sets out there for exterior doors, for instance, depending on the door, and door sizes are getting nutty out there. I was walking around here, I'm like, that is a 12-foot pivot door right there. And I'm like, how are you getting that to the job site easy and getting it in there? And that's crazy, but we've got all these different back sets, the two main ones right there, without somebody getting nutty and doing something. There's always somebody doing something crazy.
You've had an episode or two on that in the past.
Absolutely. But so anyway, you can adjust this in the field. You don't have to sit there and check the box and go, oh, my door guy drilled it wrong. Guess what? You got the piece for that. You know?
Absolutely. And we're doing a couple shout outs. I got to talk about our customer service team back in Reading. You know, what you just said, we run into those scenarios sometimes, right? Where people think they have the right stuff, right? They get the lock in a box, but they need that extra piece. We have that team right there that we're sending probably 100 parts pieces out to customers every day to ensure that trust, that responsibility that Severn started. It'll be 80 years in 2026. So yeah, that heritage, something we take seriously.
Yeah. And that's why I like leaning on your local dealers, right? Those people that you walk in, they know what they're talking about. My area run down to Chown Hardware. They've been around forever. Shout out to Nathaniel. I keep running into in the hotel.
They're like double as long as us.
Absolutely,
they're like the 1800s. It's insane.
Yeah, I was helping MC their, what was it, 100 and... I'm going to make that wrong.
It's like 160?
It's 140th, I think is what it was, 140th. And Portland is not like that.
What a story. It's insane.
Yeah, and to me, I love that because, again, family-run company, it's just same generation after generation. And what's cool with that is you guys have dealers like that all across the country
100%.
That are your local people that you go in, you build the relationship with, and they know how to order it. So if you're the builder or the homeowner, you don't have to study this stuff. You don't have to worry about, they'll say, what rosette do you want? What do you want this? Or if you're getting absolutely crazy like I do sometimes with mixed finishes, you can do that. Know that you've got a pro there that's going to help you get through that.
You've got the resources for sure.
Yeah.
And what's great about, even from the dealer's perspective with the adjustable latch, literally if they want to keep a decent amount in stock, that adjustable latch, not only does it change between the two different latch sizes, but it also changes between knob and lever strength. So it's literally making it so much easier to have a couple on stock. It never hurts to have a couple of extra latches on a job site, but now you don't have to worry about making sure that each of those 4 parts are taken care of.
Yeah, that's a huge deal. And that's less inventory for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, people don't want things on their shelves anymore, right? No. So that's where Quick Ship comes in. That's where the parts and pieces come in. We also supply both a dual full lip strike and a T-strike. I know we've all run into that, right?
Yeah.
Where, okay, we got our lock in a box. It's on a new build. That's going to be a T-strike usually, right? Or it's a retrofit. Oh, no, I got a T-strike. I need my full lip. So
absolutely,
just trying to be proactively thinking ahead to how do we solve a problem before it happens.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we see all these other, I'm gonna throw these guys under the bus out there, but I did this with my TV show, so we had some fun with this. I would go out and order the cheapest knockoff stuff on Amazon and try to put it through its paces and see. Dear Lord, you get what you pay for out there.
A lot of paperweights, huh?
A lot of paperweights, but some of the stuff, even with tools, I was putting on like my cut-proof gloves going, I could lose a hand here if this doesn't go well. And really, when it comes down to the quality in the finish, you guys have the weight of superior design over there with the scale. It says it all. You can grab that knob handle and go, that is one thing, that is real. And then you get the other stuff and it's, all right, that's sheet metal. And there's a big difference in the quality. And of course, the durability. This is stuff that you could put in the house and you know it's going to be there for 80 years.
It's one of the most highly touched spots in your whole entire home, your doors and your cabinet pulls. If you think about the amount of times that you have touch points and interactions with that, you want something that's going to be sturdy and it's going to last, and it's not the second you pull at it going to fall right off or going to feel like it's going to crumble in your hand. You need something with weight.
And the crazy thing is too is that all the oils in our hands are just like acidic. They love to eat it. Look at people that have knobless cabinets in their kitchen from the 90s or whatever. Destroys the finish.
Yeah.
You see the hand marks, you see the fingerprints, the whole thing. Right?
Absolutely. And that's going to be tough too as part of the R&D stuff, like coming up with the mat that doesn't do that. Because early on matte finishes with other brands, you'd come up and grab something and it's like, I can see where you touch that every day.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's come into as we continue to expand in our PVD finishes.
Yeah.
Basically, we won't get into a science experiment talking about what PVD stands for. Super strong coatings for finishes. And that's even coming in there where we'll put an extra layer that makes those smudges just not appear. So tactless and just continue to be that lifetime finish warranty that you get from those PVD finishes.
Yeah, and it's great. And by the way, I love the design boards that you guys have over here in the booth. And if you're watching on video, we've got this. I'm going to layer over this to show you, but some of those people who I love, they're great people, but it's fun to see what they came up with, mixing and matching and having some fun with stuff.
I think that's actually a really great way to intro like some of the new products that we have going on, because a lot of it actually stemmed from this project strictly at KBIS, which I know that sounds crazy, which that actually shows Baldwin's new speed to market, the way that we've been working through and bringing new products. But we always like to work hand in hand with designers, and it's really been a passion of ours and a big focus. He's such a huge decision maker within this whole entire within the process of remodel or whatever it may be. But Nicholas Moriarty came to me and he goes, I want to see a satin brass and a polished brass on the same piece. And I was like, I nodded along. Fair. And I'm like, okay.
Hey, Nicholas, we're giving you a shout out here, buddy. Good to see you.
But when I was like looking at it,
OG.
100%. But when I saw that, I was like, okay, are those brasses? Like in my mind, I was like, that's going to show some yellows or oranges. How is that going to work? And
guess
gosh
what?
darn it, it's stunning.
It looks sexy.
And that's why they make the big button. I'm like, that's why I don't question designers, because honestly, their vision ends up coming out so beautiful each time. And we did the same with Carol Kurth, who has been with us for a while. She's like, I don't want polished nickel and black. I want polished chrome and black. And I was like, all right, let's see what we can do.
See what happens. And it looks good.
And sometimes it is just that little variation, right? And we say it all the time. I probably said it on here last year. Luxury is attention to detail, right? Luxury is in the details. And it's just those little variations that sometimes make the difference.
Yeah. I love Nicholas. Him and I have always been...
He's the man.
We go against the grain sometimes, which is fun. Sometimes it gets us some nasty looks, but we're going to tell you exactly what we think. And that's what I love about this family of Baldwin here, is that through the years going through stuff, you guys really take the time with what was the design council, and then that morphed into something new. And as you guys have changed and grown with that, it was really fun to see the attention to detail that you're like, all right, so many brands out there, and I deal with a ton of them out there. It's my one person over here says that this is the deal, and they go off chasing down this road. That's like, all right, that's one person. You guys get such a mix, because styles in this country are wild, from Miami to Seattle.
So you switch the geography, it can change so quickly.
Some places are so contemporary, some places are so traditional. And you guys do a great job of kind of placing people around the country to get those, so you can make this beautiful mixture.
Say it's like the tapestry of the brand, right? It's all these different style cues and where people have come from. That's another cool thing about ASA, being the influences from Europe and other parts of the world. Valley is a brand that's been in the ASA space for a while, so has some Italian influences. So for us, it's just this melting pot of, and Severin was an immigrant himself, so the melting pot that is this country is something we try to replicate, and again, seeing those viewpoints from all over the country and the world.
Yeah, it was fun sitting there at the first design council meeting that I went to, and you guys did a great job of putting us in haunted places back then. That was awesome.
We loved ghost places.
Man, right? I tell you what, and this was awesome. I went back and literally I got home from the trip. I was turning on TV, chilling out. Oh, that's on Ghost Adventures. Literally another one of those paranormal shows was at the other location. I'm like, they did that to us. That was pretty awesome.
We were just talking about doorknobs there.
Yeah. Wait a minute, that was before the smart ones that open up. Yeah.
You'll never forget that experience. That's what we're all about, unforgettable experiences.
Oh, it was awesome. But sitting up there at in the Hollywood Hills in some of those homes, that Lloyd Wright house, that was so amazing, back by the pool. I felt like I was in my own. It's like, when's Frank Sinatra?
Mansion or something.
I was like a Bond mansion versus
the Rat Pack or something.
Sitting there. Awesome. And then up at the Greystone Mansion, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. I'm sitting there drinking while we're talking in the kind of the ballroom right there in that area where the fireplace is from the Big Lebowski. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, wait a minute.
I know this.
I'm Googling. I'm like, yeah, that's the fireplace. That's cool.
Okay.
It's
Lebowski's office. Great.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Rory Gilmore went to school there too.
Yeah. Batman was there for a while. There's a lot of history of that, which is fun to see the different pieces of that. But that put a lot of fun into creating and inspiring all the different designers there, and I made some great friendships, and it was fun to see that. And
yeah, it's cool to reflect on some of those activities and events, and you just said the word, the influence of it, right? How we pull from that's architecture, 200 some years old. Yeah, what can we pull from it? What can we be a part of and pull from it as well?
And that was cool. And that was when we rolled out. So you guys rolled out Hollywood Hills. So that was a really transformational age for Baldwin in a great way because it just opened up some brand new doors.
I think it really set us on the path that Sammy mentioned earlier about we were stuck in this traditional rut for a long time.
Yeah.
Then we overcompensated to contemporary. Hollywood Hills was let's go back to the middle, right? Because again, the beauty of the finishes, depending on what finish you put that style in, it feels like 5 different style venues. It was definitely, I think, a new course, right?
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
where we are today as Briarcrest and Nashville and these new families come forward. It started with Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, I look back and go, wow, that was an interesting time. That was fun. But you guys, this program right here, and I got to go back to this, of just literally being able to mix and match and create your own personalized luxury with this, because you can really go, oh, I love this texture. I love this finish. And I'm going to do something totally unconventional.
For sure.
And make it work and make it look beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really our first foray in quite some time into this semi-custom space. So it is giving people the opportunity to really create something that's very unique to them and create something that's going to make a unique mark within their home design, not only in door hardware, but also within cabinet hardware as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is what's really exciting for me is I think there are other brands out there that have done mixed metal levers and mixed finish on knobs and things like that. But what I really think is cool, and like you said, Eric, in some of the background footage, Cremone bolts with mixed finish covers. You don't know what a Cremone bolt is, you'll see it in the background. It's beautiful. Rim locks that are mixed. So things that we haven't seen in mixed material as much, seeing that even come to the forefront too is exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's going. And then I'm like, all right, when are we doing hinges? When are we going to get into hinges?
Start throwing some mixed finish on hinges.
See?
There we go.
Which
throw some screws in there.
There's a little bit of ways that we can do so right now. I'm looking at it as I look at my trend book. As you look at some of the hinges and you put some of the finials on top, you can start to play with a little bit of mixed metal.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that little touch of brass maybe, or
Just
a little
something
hint,
cool.
right? Yeah.
Are you a contractor, landscaper, or small business owner? Are you tired of renting or pulling that worn out trailer to the job site? Is that really the best look for your company? It's time to up your game and check out the trailers from Summit Trailer. If you want the highest quality trailer you can own, they are proudly made right here in Oregon with a dealer network all along the West Coast. What I love about my Summit trailer is that it's a dump trailer that was designed to work. I can load it up without having to worry about if it's going to be able to lift the load, and it pulls like a dream. This was built to work. So it doesn't matter if you want a dump trailer like mine or a deck over flatbed, tilt bed, or utility trailer. They got a trailer that'll fit your needs. Invest in your business with something you'll feel proud of, pulling up to any job site or your next project. Check out the best trailer in the West at summittrailermfg.com. Check out the dealer locator and find your nearest dealer at summittrailermfg.com. Are you ready for a deep dive into the future of home building? Hey, it's Eric G. from Around the House. This week, March 15th, on the Around the House show, we sit down with Champion Homes to tackle some of the biggest challenges in housing today. From affordability to healthier living spaces, they reveal how factory-built homes are revolutionizing the way we live. Find out how Champion Homes is making homeownership more accessible and solving housing problems one home at a time. Don't miss this must-listen episode. Tune into your favorite podcast app or visit AroundTheHouseOnline.com. To find out more about how Champion Homes is changing housing, visit them at championhomes.com. Yeah, just something that's cool that you can
Absolutely.
go. And it's like, all right, because when that door's open in the hinge,
it's there.
It's there when it's the finial. So
was
it's
gonna
there.
say,
It's just another accent, right?
It's a beautiful little, and once again, it goes into luxuries and the details. It's those little pieces that you would not expect that suddenly out of nowhere captures your eye, and you're like, someone put thought and attention into that little piece to make sure it aligned with
And
everything
it's
else.
unexpected. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's people call it, you go, oh.
Like that little mint on the pillow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's that kind of, and it's, I'm like, oh, let's have some fun. Those are the unexpected stuff. But again, I just love all the different things you're doing in here. And let's make sure we cover, before we run out of time in a little bit here, make sure we cover all the new stuff you guys got. And by the way, there's new stuff coming too that we won't talk about, but a lot of new stuff coming in the future that I might have heard a little bit about, but we don't talk about that on the show
Take it
just
maybe
yet.
to a different level.
Oh, I like it. Nice. All right,
Crickets?
guys.
No crickets?
No. All right, guys, lock that one in.
But let's just foray into cabinet hardware, since that was
Okay.
another big one that we wanted to
yes.
chat about.
Good topic change, Sam. Go ahead.
So
Good.
not only within mixed metal are we looking at cabinet hardware, but we're looking at expanding our cabinet hardware collection.
Yes.
So we've got some beautiful designs, but we are ensuring that the sizing is where we want it to be.
Yep.
We are not going to just make sure that we're in the few key sizes, but we've expanded to ensure that whatever needs you have, we should be able to provide.
We don't accept missing a kitchen or a bathroom because we skipped or cut a corner or something like that. For a cabinet knob, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 inches,
Yep.
8, 10, 12, 18, 24 in appliance pulls.
Yep.
That 24 is going to be a beast. I haven't seen one yet. The 18s feel like a murder weapon.
Right,
so
exactly.
The 24 is going to be
It's
a
a baseball bat.
behemoth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I know we gave graphite nickel love, but we have to announce that graphite nickel is coming into the cabinet hardware collection now.
Entire cabinet collection. All
Nice.
Also quick ship. The entire cabinet hardware collection, 1 week lead time.
Except for mixed metal.
Well, except for mixed
Oh, yeah.
metal, of course.
Yeah.
You can't rush custom, right?
You can't.
Yeah, there's a price to
Well,
pay
we
for
can
that.
actually. I guess we can rush it a little bit, just
Yeah.
not quite as fast as the
No.
model
Yeah.
stuff.
Still, that's why it's custom. It's not like
Exactly.
you're doing it. So
4 to 6 weeks. We can do
There you
yeah, there we go. There we go. And that's the cool part of this. And you guys are really having fun.
It's
cabinet
fun.
hardware is difficult, and you guys understand that it is not an easy space to get into. But it's so important because there's a door coming into a space or a door going out of that space into some place. And the more that you can tie those things in together, it just really makes that home make more sense. And even if you've got a different finish in that different room, which can be fun, you can really mix that in and make it still stay within the Baldwin hardware throughout the house. But by just changing finish colors,
You get
can have some
you
fun.
have those little connection points, but I
Yep.
like this kind of move of individual spaces in the house almost get their own type of vibe or theme.
Yep.
Not even theme, just it can vary a little bit, but it's still continuous throughout the home. That's
Yeah.
the genius of design.
Yeah. You could literally have on the first floor, let's say it's let's go satin brass and a matte black, for instance, you're doing that. You could go upstairs and you could flip it the other way. On the second floor.
Or
and
keep
reverse
black
it.
and let's throw in some polished nickel or
Exactly.
something, right?
You
Just
can
go
totally
nuts
do
with
something
it.
crazy with it.
Yeah, you're like tying common thread, and then you just get creative with it.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks the same, but the textures and the colors are different.
Familiar but different, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
And those are things that you can do now, which is great. And you don't have to go down to the hardware store and pick up the $49 lock set down there and wonder why it doesn't work.
And that's also probably a good excuse to bring up Lock Designer and what we're doing from a technology
Oh my gosh.
standpoint to try
Great
to showcase, because there is so many options with Baldwin. Like when you start looking at the portfolio, this alone within the mixed metal, I think was 17,000 SKUs that it's increasing. When you start looking at extrapolating out all those finishes. But with this new tool that'll be launching here shortly, you're able to visualize pretty much interior, exterior doors in a really incredible way. And it gives you a picture of actually what will end up on your door, which I know I even have a hard time visualizing. Okay, that rose with that you sure?
Are you sure it's not going to work?
Well, visualization, right? It reminds me of if you ever walk through like building a car online.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
It's
Where,
that same
okay,
thing.
well, what does this interior color look like? It
Yeah.
changes it immediately. Oh, okay. I don't like that one.
That
Yeah.
does not
We'll
work.
spin it around. Let
Yeah.
me see this. So
Yeah.
being able to do that in a similar concept where, okay, my door is walnut. Okay, I'm thinking of changing it. I might paint it white. Oh, weird. My hardware would look like this. Okay,
Yeah,
so
okay, that's not gonna
just
work. Yeah.
1,000 options to like cycle through, and it makes it a lot easier to do a lot of different selections that way, or a lot of explorations without having to have hard samples.
Yeah.
Play around in this digital space, narrow down your selections,
It's gonna do the
and
work
then you can
for
check it
you.
out. Exactly.
Yeah, why sit there and go, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make... No. Let the smart thing
digital
do
age,
it.
the
Yeah,
digital
let the
age.
smart thing handle that. And
I was going to
that's
say,
cool.
there's only so many samples you can keep in your own personal library before it starts getting a little too intense. So this at least helps narrow down that process into, okay, this is what we really do want to see, and this is what the client needs to see to make the decision.
And being
Otherwise, you've
formatted
got
for
the B.
mobile. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say, otherwise you got the B of samples, right? You got
And it's heavy,
4,000
right?
pounds of samples over there. But go ahead, Aaron.
What was I going to say?
Oh, no,
You're talking about, I think it's formatted for mobile.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
and the other great thing with Lock Designer is we know people can be on the go, right? So formatted for mobile.
Nice.
So desktop, PC, whatever we call that these days.
Exactly.
iPad, phone. You always have that accessibility. So you could literally be on a job site and be showing somebody scrolling through.
You can be there, you can be in the showroom taking a look at it as well. So
Exactly.
it doesn't really matter. You're like, oh, that's cool, but what's that look like this? And you can just grab your phone and go.
100%. It does create a lot of ease because even in a showroom, there's only so much space. I can't show your favorite knob in all 14 finishes. That's going to just be a little too repetitive and not super helpful, but a lot of clients might not understand specifically what is that going to look like. And it does bridge the gap between what they're able to have there and what they can actually see.
Especially when you're making decisions like lever, knob, all that stuff. And then you start putting rosettes behind it and you start dealing with all that stuff. Okay, am I doing a deadbolt? What am I doing here? How's that going to work? And it really makes a difference on pulling those pieces together. And I think it gives you more ability to actually come up with a really designer look because you start to see it and get inspired and go, oh, but what if I do this? And that's where you can have some fun.
It goes back to a word Samantha said earlier, is trust, right?
Yeah.
If I see what I'm getting, I can actually see it not shown in your right finish or shown with a different backplate.
Yep.
I'm actually seeing exactly what I'm going to get. There's trust in that.
There is. And something like that makes it so much easier because, again, oh my gosh, nobody wants to put 17,000 SKUs on a website for you to go click through without having a designer. Nobody's going to. It's complex, but having that help you walk through it, then you're more informed and you go down to the showroom to go make some decisions and go, okay, now I want to touch and feel this. And you can look at it.
You can literally, once you find the design or designs you like, you can click a button, print out like a spec sheet. And it's not a quote or anything like that, but you go to a sales associate and they know they've got a takeoff point of, I see where you're headed, right?
Absolutely. And you can go there
you've cut out probably an hour of that,
oh my gosh.
appointment.
Yeah, it makes a big difference with that. It makes a big difference. And another thing I love seeing in here, and it's so obvious, but it's cool, the start to finish on the handle over here on the knob, on going through that or so on. Okay, here's a billet of brass. This is what it looks like with the first big hammer punch of the stamp to hit that and then get into that. It just shows the quality of that.
Yeah, I think it's the best representation of our heritage, right? Back to part number 0001 was a mail slot, right? We still use the same coating.
Yep.
Just Severin's family were blacksmiths. That was their heritage, and that's just still to this day just key to what we are. We're makers, we're craftsmen, we're artisan.
Yep.
We add design, we add style, but at the end of the day, it's that quality that Baldwin was originally synonymous for, and that's what we stand up for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I also think it's a great learning lesson. As someone who didn't come originally from hardware, I needed to be trained in understanding what the intensity that having a full brass piece actually means and what that does to the product, how it helps the finishes adhere to it, the weight that it has, the longevity it has.
Yeah.
So sitting there and looking at it, it's a real life application to understand, look at the amount of steps that it takes to make this piece of art that you get in the end.
Yeah.
And it gives you a deeper appreciation for what is being built.
Yeah, what's cool is the quality because, great example, this had to have been 15 years ago in Seattle at a project. And remodel, very custom inlaid doors, Baldwin Hardware. Had the really cool lock that was up high, the small one that was in there.
Nice. Yep.
It was really sexy. And we were keeping the doors, and he's like, I don't want the brass. So we took it apart, sent it out, got it powder coated because he wanted the color on it. And we did it, came back, still in the house today out there.
Yep.
And it is just
nice smooth surface to finish on top of, right?
Yeah. But it worked great.
Yeah,
Set it
that's
off,
great.
and they had the
Yeah,
plater
yeah.
take care of it and do all that stuff. But it was the same locks. And they still worked great. They're 50 plus years old, which was cool.
We've had customers that have had mortise sets in their doors for 35 years, and they're old polished brass or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just take the plates off and get new plates, leave the mortise locks, right?
Yeah.
Because they'll last forever.
Yeah. You treat them right, they're built to last.
And that's what our warranty states. They will last forever.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I love it though.
So Samantha, I got a question for you style-wise. Where are you seeing things going out in the market that you're seeing out there? I know it's moving around a lot right now. But
it is moving around a lot, and I think that's a really hard question. I think that goes back to that new traditional. We're seeing a lot more of that. You're seeing 100%. A lot of these elements of cleaner lines. I do think you're seeing a lot of blends, and I know it makes it sound like you volleyed me this question to answer specifically for the stuff in front of me.
It wasn't, because we didn't set that up.
That's not the case.
No, we don't do that much setup for these.
But when you start looking at how many different brands that you're bringing into a space, let's look at kitchens. You're looking at plumbing. You're looking at your oven range. You're looking at several different elements that do have metal tones to it. So you're seeing a lot of really creative use of blending metals to make something that's a piece of art. So I think that is going to continue to be something that will thrive within the market. And then I do think you're starting to see, obviously, things going warmer. So black is going to continue to go, I think, down. I think you're going to see, that's why graphite nickel is nice, because not only is it gray, it holds true to people that love black, but when you put it against darker colors, it has a really warm undertone.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful with the way that it shines. But that would be some of my biggest. I also think big plates are coming back too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Something about having a statement piece throughout your home, and it's especially in some of the more bolder brasses, I think it's something that really is a point of pride, and it's a little piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Stole my answer a little bit.
Yeah,
Scale,
there we go.
scale, and you mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
but I think we mentioned with the B, but even like larger appliance pulls, we're seeing larger doors. Go look at some of the appliance companies and some of the size of those ranges and those fridges that we need to get these appliance pulls onto. And then we talked about the different knob sizes and things and plates. So I think scale, as people just continue to be unique, even in the door spaces and things like that, and be unique. So we need to have more unique options to fit, that other language in other parts of the home.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see come back some of like the diamond shaped plates and things like that we would see out there.
Sorry.
See? Okay, guys, this is the 2025 Design Council time right now.
Yeah. I've been trying to figure out how you offset one of those back plates to make a beautiful diamond.
We need to put the engineering team on that one.
You know what I mean? We'll call it the Eric.
I just love that you said that, because I literally was probably
the G.
6
I
months
like
ago.
that even better.
Ooh,
G.
I like that.
Okay.
Yep. Done.
All right, on the floor at 2025.
Exactly.
We named it. It's done.
But yeah, to me, that would be so cool. And you could do something that was diamond. You could do something where you swoop the edges in to give it a little bit of style too. It's not just a regular diamond.
You just triggered something else for me. I'm also noticing asymmetry.
Yes.
Asymmetry is coming in big. So that's something I think we want to explore and see how we picture out there two knobs on two doors, right? And they might not be perfect. They're a little oblong. Yeah. They're a little different. Some of that organic.
You could mirror
exactly.
those.
Some of that organic character.
I was going to say organic to me is also another big one, because asymmetry can play in really sharp lines and still be asymmetrical, but organic shapes.
Maybe?
Yeah, there we go.
For it?
It's a good one.
Natural, whatever you want to say, but
Some of
seeing a
those-
lot of that too.
100%.
Yeah. And of course, colors. We see the show here for the last 12 or 15 years. It seemed like we had the magnolia gray out there going everywhere. And now we're seeing color and texture just boom.
Yep.
You walk into one of these tile spaces or any one of these other places, it's just like, oh, wow.
Lots of greens, lots of bolds.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Blues,
say,
reds.
people are not afraid to be bold, and I love that, and I think that goes back to individuality as well. Like when you start thinking of when you're working with what you specifically want, or if you're working with a designer, something that feels so specifically you, and that could be super bold or it could be super minimal, but having those options in order to create that is what's going to be incredibly necessary.
I'm seeing a lot of late 70s colors reimagined, the brown clayish colors. So they're that stuff that you saw.
We're about to redo our mid-century conversation.
Exactly. But it's that thing,
It's
you know?
so
When are we going to have sunken couches? That's what I want to know. I'm ready for that to
we were
come
talking
back.
about
Couches,
that
tubs,
earlier.
bars.
We were having this discussion about doing those conversation pieces. I was at a house on my TV show that I was showing Eric
Stunning.
earlier.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh. This looked like I was at a Mad Men.
I love a good sunken couch. Something about it's just such a conversational moment and relaxing.
Yeah, this was a radius sunken couch with a radius fireplace in front of it. And what was crazy is when you walked into this house, it's in Lake Oswego up the street from me, and for a mere $8.5 million, I could have bought it. Didn't have it.
Didn't have it on you.
Didn't have it. Gotta get some better sponsors too. Jeesh. All right, Elon, we need some Tesla sponsorship money over here, even though you don't sponsor anything. But I was right in the tunnel though. That was nice. But seriously, you get into this, and this house was funny because had this like in green, like olive silverish green velvet. I'm like, that's beautiful. And he goes, I go, did you just find that? He goes, no, we took off the orange pleather that was over the top of it, and that was hiding underneath
my Lord.
it.
That's nuts.
And it's just, I'm like, they didn't ruin it. Awesome. But that was original. And I think
very
those
cool.
sunken things and those radiuses, again, are like you were saying, Samantha. It's just one of those things that stuff's coming back in. And I think that style is really back into residence again of like we always do. We take something that was old, we reimagine it and make it new again with the colors that we're seeing out there.
Do some refinement and just make it a little bit different. Again, familiar but different, like we said before.
It's like Kohler. I think last year they had an avocado reimagined.
Saw that.
Yeah. I was like, I'll call it avocado toast because it's like making it back again. Something different. It was new, but it was like, oh, Maybe that's a little much, but I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But there's going to be a home for it. And that's what also is very unique. And that's why I love the idea of us bringing together Lock Designer in a really big way, because having those moments that you can create something so unique, no one else in the world might like it, but that's fine. It's your home. It's your space. You should design exactly what you want to see every day, and giving them that freedom to be able to do, whether it's a bright green toilet or if it's a giant, shiny, living brass plate that's going on your front door. You need to have that availability to create something that's really specifically for you.
And design-wise, it's cool too, because like you got that powder room that you want to make this great statement piece. You've invested in this crazy faucet, this crazy sink. Why go with the rest of the house on the lock? Do something nutty. Do something wild.
That style segmentation, right? Different parts of the house, like taking some risks. It's awesome to see.
Without hurting the durability.
Yep.
And that's the fun part.
Exactly.
All right, we're running out of time. What have we not talked about, guys? And I know there's some things we're not going to talk about, so I got to say that right now, but
I'll keep my mouth shut this time. Don't get another stink eye from Samuel.
I was going to say, after we said that we were going to talk about it, you just throw it in.
Oh, we didn't, though. We didn't.
Yeah,
So,
wink.
wink.
I'm a fan of puns. What can I say?
Absolutely.
Fair.
Just some of the pun you can have.
We kept the dad jokes out of this pretty well for us. For us.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's good, but
What else is happening that's new and exciting? We're seeing, gosh, now my brain just stopped thinking.
Well, I think I'll say one more thing. We've spoken a lot about Estate today, right?
Yeah.
And that's the flagship. That's our flagship brand. Again, that's the heritage of Severin, and everything he started came from that part of our portfolio.
Yeah.
But we've got this pretty cool brand called Reserve that's come a long way. Launched about the time, Eric, I think we started getting together. And again, won't say much about it now, but that's going to take a huge overhaul later this year. Nice. Really just expanding style there. That's another line that could use a little bit of some TLC. So stay tuned for that.
There's a lot of great value in that, which is cool because you get something that's beautiful, and some people just can't afford or don't want to spend their money on that level, but still want something that's going to be quality and it's still going to look beautiful. So it fits that hole.
It's another one of those flexibilities we try to give our customers, right? We have a budget for each home, each room, each floor of the home, right? We're not above Estate on the first floor, Reserve on the second floor. So just whatever solution works best for the client.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I think that actually is a good foray into talking about how Baldwin is handling their business in general, especially over the last couple of years, is we're really focused on easing the process for every single person that's touching this hardware.
Yeah.
As we talked about, it can get complicated, and sometimes there's people that don't have the time or the energy to get through that level of complication, but we're trying to ease, whether it's with quick ship, whether it's ensuring the accuracy of shipping timelines, or whether it's even the way that we've looked at our price book and our digital experience to really bring the best experience forth for all people that touch the brand. Because I know all three of us at this table are really passionate about it, but I want the world to be passionate about it and to understand it. And I think we're really tackling that one step at a time.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Making it attainable.
Exactly.
And of course, people can go to the website and take a look at this stuff. As it comes out, they'll see it there first. Where do they go?
BaldwinHardware.com, or follow us at Baldwin Hardware on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or sign up for our emails. That's actually a solid one. That's the one, the best place.
That's the move. Could be the move.
It's where you're getting a lot more of a not just fact-driven sort of situation. You're getting a little bit more insight into there. You're getting some designer feedback or showroom feedback, but it's giving you a holistic kind of picture of all things. So email is a great way to connect.
What's cool too is I think, and credit goes to Samantha and the marketing team, is not only designers, but you're seeing our customers posting pictures and showing projects. So it's a great way to see like real world application, but also see the personal side. We're a tapestry of people. That's what we say at Baldwin, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Severin always put forward. So the collaboration is such a key to this team and to this brand. That comes through. That comes through in our social as well.
And by the way, you guys putting your social media manager in my neighborhood, this is going to be freaking dangerous, guys.
Right in the backyard.
Here we go. You threw it in my backyard. She's like, hey, let's meet at the restaurant down the street from your house. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be dangerous. We're going to have some fun now.
I love it.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me out. As always, this is like homecoming week coming back here. I just love coming back in here because you guys are family, and I love what this brand is and what you guys are doing. Just the sexy hardware that's in this booth is amazing.
This is always such a fun last day of the show of getting to sit there and debrief, hear what your thoughts are on the show, and get your take because you've been such a big part of the Baldwin family for so long.
It's almost like the show can't end until this happens.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's good news, everybody. We're getting close. Hold on.
It's so funny because we'll be booking the show out and people will go, hey, how's it on Thursday? I always go, it's booked. It's booked.
You have a spot. You have a family to back to.
This is the reunion right here. This is the band getting back together.
I love it.
First time our first trip in Orlando. Have we done this in Orlando before?
Yeah.
We haven't done it in Orlando. Next year.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, next year.
In Orlando.
Yep, because I was on stage that year doing all my stuff then, so I was up in the technology stage, so we didn't do it that year.
It's going to be back into the humidity.
All right.
Woo!
Humidity, strip malls, and traffic.
Crocodiles
And traffic. Exactly. For our friends in Florida. So, all right, guys, this has been fun. I'm Eric G, and you've been listening to Around the House. Are you ready for a deep dive into the future of home building? Hey, it's Eric G from Around the House. This week, March 15th, on the Around the House show, we sit down with Champion Homes to tackle some of the biggest challenges in housing today. From affordability to healthier living spaces, they reveal how factory-built homes are revolutionizing the way we live. Find out how Champion Homes is making homeownership more accessible and solving housing problems one home at a time. Don't miss this must-listen episode. Tune into your favorite podcast app or visit aroundthehouseonline.com. To find out more about how Champion Homes is changing housing, visit them at championhomes.com.